And now to Egypt. The supreme leader of the Muslim Brotherhood was arrested in Egypt in yet another serious escalation in the crackdown on the group by security forces in the country. Mohammed Badi was picked up near Rab'a al-Adawiyya Square, where more than 280 supporters of deposed President Morsi were killed last Wednesday as police demolished their protest camp. Now, this video that we're showing you shows the supreme leader before he was transferred to Tora prison, where former President Mubarak and other officials from his regime are also currently being held. In Badi's absence, the Muslim Brotherhood has temporarily appointed Mahmoud Izzat, who's Badi's deputy, as the current spiritual leader. Now, this Facebook page, the Facebook page of the Interior Ministry, also displayed a picture of Badi with a caption confirming his arrest. There you see the 70-year-old sitting on a sofa with bottles of juice and water placed in front of him. This was released by the Interior Ministry, as we mentioned, and during last week's Day of Rage, one of Badi's sons, Ammar Badi, died of a bullet wound sustained while protesting in Ramses Square. Now, here are some of the photos that have been circulating online of his funeral, many of them capturing the visceral and emotive response amongst his supporters. Badi and his powerful deputy, Khairat al-Shatir, who is in custody, will go on trial later this month for their alleged role in the killing of 8 protesters outside the Brotherhood's Cairo headquarters in June. Joining us now live from Cairo over the phone is HuffPost Middle East correspondent Josh Hirsch. Josh, I want to ask you about this latest arrest. A lot of people suggesting this is some sort of a red line that, people knew shouldn't be crossed, arresting the supreme leader. What's the reaction on the ground?
Well, I think you pretty much hit it on the head there. I think this is definitely an escalation, but it's an escalation of a pretty intense campaign by the military, not just to violently remove the Muslim Brotherhood and their public displays from the scene, their sit-ins obviously, but also really any public presence of the organization lately, but also to actively arrest large numbers of their membership and obviously, of course, their leadership. So we've been seeing that going on for several days now. This clearly is one step above in terms of the type of character you're arresting, but it doesn't really change the basic plan, which is to decapitate the organization as much as possible.
Now, Josh, I'm showing a Bamboozer feed, a live streaming feed from Cairo. Several cities really have these feeds where we're seeing the protests continue. Yesterday, we saw that the Muslim Brotherhood canceled some of their scheduled protests ahead of what they anticipated would be yet another massacre, as they're calling these crackdowns on the Muslim Brotherhood supporters. What can you tell us is the climate? What are people feeling, sensing with this crackdown, with this demonization of the Muslim Brotherhood? Yesterday, you shared with us, it seems, that the military is really casting them explicitly as a terrorist organization now. What's changed in the past 24 hours?
Look, you can ask a couple questions about why they had canceled their event the other day. One explanation that they gave, which I think was a little maybe hard to totally believe, is that they claimed there were snipers in the scene, and they thought there was going to be another massacre. Some reporters who were at that place didn't actually see that. But on the other hand, you have an organization now that just simply has been forced underground once again. Whether it's a return to the good old Mubarak era where they were completely underground or just a temporary moment, it's very hard for colleagues who are reporting on stories, trying to get in touch with Brotherhood figures, people who we used to speak to sometimes, spokesmen whose job it is to answer the phone, and actually in the recent past have been incredibly happy to talk to the Western press. And, well, people's phones are off, people aren't answering their phones, they're not calling anyone back. There's a real sense that the party certainly is, for the moment at least, in a state of hiding and siege, and really we don't know what's going on in there.